I've got quite a collection of fossils now and pieces of fossils, and I think in today's video I'm going to have a review of everything we've got here, unpack it, take a good look at it, figure out what some of it is, and then we'll look at a way to put some of it on display. So this one I picked up on a chalk path. I was just walking on a path through the chalk hills, and the exposed underlying chalk and flints were coming up through the turf, and it's a heart urchin. It's an echinoid, and this was just lying amongst the other flints. It's a flint fossil. It's a lovely little heart urchin echinoid. Most of the rest of what we've got here, most of this is from Seatown. So here what we've mostly got is ammonite segments, or ammonite sections. We've also got some nice little crinoid stems and belemnites. So this lot's all from Seatown. And then in this box here, I've got a collection of other things that came from the area where I used to live. So let's make sure there's nothing wrapped up in there. So I've got some turritella. These are turritella shells, fossils from Bracklesham Bay, the bay at the east end of the Solent. That's a carved pebble that I made years and years ago. That's not a fossil, obviously. There's actually a much larger, I don't know if that's also a turritella or it's a different species, but it's a much larger one. And then in this box we've got, well, let's get things out. So there's another heart urchin there, another echinoid, not such good quality. This one is from the Solent shore. That's another sea urchin, quite worn. That's from Titchfield in the Solent area. This is a little bivalve, or possibly a brachiopod, embedded in a chunk of flint from Portsmouth Harbour. Also from Portsmouth Harbour, some more sea urchins. This is the one that I tried to polish flat because I thought I could see structures in there that I believed at the time might be remnants of, might be traces of soft tissue. I don't think it was. I think it's just crystals inside of there. But I tried to polish that flat. I didn't even get it completely flat. Perhaps I'll have another go at that. But again, these are from Portsmouth Harbour, actually from Porchester Shore, which is inside Portsmouth Harbour. Various fossil sponges from the Solent shore. There's one where it's the imprint of the inside. I think that's the inside of a sponge. It might be an echinoid, but I think that's a sponge. Another piece of echinoid there. Not very distinct, but you can see there's a piece of one of these ridges. That's where all the little spines would have been attached. And another one there, another piece of echinoid. Again, you can see the little dotted bits. So these are all kind of like sea urchin shells. A piece of ammonite, or perhaps just the imprint from an inside of an ammonite. That one was from North Yorkshire. That's a piece of ammonite from Charmouth or Seatown, so I will put that with the Seatown fossils. A shark's tooth, again from the Solent shore. Another bit of echinoid. That's from North Yorkshire. That's the sutures from in between segments of an ammonite. So these are the bits where the successive segments of the spiral shell of an ammonite, they have these complex fractal-like sutures between the successive segments of the ammonite. Some of them are bizarrely complex. That's from North Yorkshire. Also from North Yorkshire, and you can't really see this one very well, but you can see there's a pattern of dots, pattern of sort of spots all over this specimen. That's a fossil piece of coral. And that, I think, is it. There are some things in here that aren't fossils, but were interesting. There's a flint that looks like an alien skull. Just because it's got holes in it. That probably is remains of a fossil sponge. I mean, most flints are. That one I don't think would be going on display. But there's another rock with a little smiley face on it as well. That was from West Wittering. And then there's bits like this, which I beachcombed on. That was on Porchester Shore. That's an insulator of some sort. And a plate that was an engine sort of information plate from a boat. I did actually, there's a video where I figured out what that actually says. And in here, these are mussel pearls. We were on holiday up in Scotland, and there were mussels all over the rocks at the back of the cottage where we were staying. And I thought, yeah, great, free seafood. And so we picked and cooked some of these mussels, and they were full of these little beads, these little mussel pearls. They were quite inedible, actually, because they were just full of grit. But the grit turned out to be perfectly spherical mussel pearls from just regular mussels. I shan't be probably putting those on display because they're not fossils. But anyway, how to display all these fossils? Well, I was lucky enough to find something on Facebook Marketplace that I think will be just perfect. And it's this. A Burkitex Collectibles glass-fronted display cabinet. Priced £15. I paid less than that for it. Do you know what? I love unboxing new old stock of stuff like this. So Burkitex is the house brand of a company called Littlewoods. I think they did actually have some physical shops, but they were a catalogue company. And so you'd get a catalogue from Littlewoods, and it would have everything from clothing to housewares to toys, electronics, all sorts of things. And you would order things from the catalogue, and you could either pay for them all at once, or you could get them on extended credit, where you'd pay so much weekly, and then obviously pay a premium for doing that. Catalogues, I don't think those sort of catalogues exist now, but they were quite a big thing. And it used to be that people would be a catalogue organiser. So it's a bit multi-level marketing, except it didn't have that many levels. But you could be a catalogue distributor and collector, and you would be in charge of going around the houses collecting the weekly payments from people for their catalogue, the stuff they bought on tick. Anyway, Burkitex was the house brand for Littlewoods, one of those catalogue companies. And this, I don't know, this is probably from the 1980s or something like that, so it's not that old. But this is a little glass-fronted cabinet designed for collecting model toy cars. But I think it'll be quite good for fossils. This has never been used. I actually got 3 of them. I think somebody had bought them to organise their collection and then perhaps never got round to doing it. So, this is the thing. And it's made from proper hardwood. This is not veneered chipboard or anything like that. Let's just open it out and have a look. So it is genuine wood. I think it might be boxwood. Boxwood being the box tree, but it's called boxwood because it was used to make boxes, because it has very fine timber suitable for making boxes. Not all of these fossils are going to fit in there all that easily. But also, this is designed for wall hanging. And of course, if I just hang it up on the wall and plonk the fossils in there, they won't be very easy to see. So I think what we need to do is make some little card inserts to go in there. Looks like the glass needs cleaning. We'll make some little card inserts to go in there so that the fossils are properly displayed. There is also this slot in the top here that this cornice fits onto. So that just... this decorative cornice just fits in the top there. But nice boxes, decent quality manufacture. Anyway, so the first thing to do, I think, is measure up the cavities inside of here and figure out what size of little cardboard inserts I'm going to make. Alright, so after a little bit of experimentation, this is what I've come up with. It's just a piece of thick paper, 70 millimeters here, 50 millimeters there, which is the height of the back, and then 25, which is the depth. So this will glue together like that, and then that will go into here like that. So each one of these cavities, each one of these little shelves will have a kind of curved backing, and then I will affix the fossil onto this card here with some sort of non-destructive temporary glue. That's the plan. I'm just going to glue one of these together and actually stick that like that, and then we'll see what it's like. So I think this bit here we can just do with a glue stick. Wow, it's a rather dried up glue stick, but it'll work. So that goes onto there, and those corners join up there. Yeah, something like that. And then we can display the fossils perhaps like that. Let's see what that looks like. And to fix the fossils on there, I'm going to use these mini glue dots. They are just gummy, non-drying adhesive. So something like that. And then that one. Something like that. And then that will drop into there, like so. And then they're a little bit better displayed and a little bit more visible than they were before. So that's the plan. Just got to make a load of those cardboard inserts then. And these glue dots will just peel off of here if necessary. If I need to restore these fossils to their original condition, the glue dots will just peel off of them. So I can get 4 of these card inserts out of a sheet of A4 with very little waste. So it actually works out to be quite efficient. That's the amount of card that's wasted, stripped from the middle. So I've got my, I think those are sponges. So that will go into there like that. And then we just put a couple of glue dots on here. Bigger ones for this. Figure out which way it's going to stick. So I want to be able to see the specimen. So we'll put it something like that, I think. So I want a glue dot on the bottom, at the front. So about there. And then I want one where it's going to touch at the back, so it's about there. Now, none of these fossils are particularly valuable specimens or rare or anything like that, so the fact that I might be potentially damaging them by sticking glue dots on them is not an enormous sin. The reality is these glue dots will come off quite easily anyway, and these fossils are mainly flint, so it's not like they're going to pull pieces off of them as they come off. So something like that. And that's more or less complete. I've left some space in here for additional specimens. I know I'll find more crinoid stems. I'm hoping I'll find more shark's teeth. Anyway, that's that case now full up. I'm going to clear the desk and then we'll have a look and see what that looks like in the light. Okay, so there it is. And I think that looks quite good actually. Certainly better than them just sitting there in an old ice cream tub in the cupboard. We're going to hang this up in a hallway, I think, and we can enjoy these as we walk past them. And I've got 2 more of these cases, so as my collection expands we can display more of them. So that was my unboxing and repurposing of these Burkotex Collectibles glass fronted display cabinets. New old stock. I'm not actually sure how very old these are because there is a barcode on there, so it's not, you know, it's not 1960s or anything like that, but I would imagine it is probably 1980s, early 90s, something like that. As I say, I think Burkotex wasn't originally an independent brand that got absorbed by Littlewoods, but Burkotex was originally, I think, a clothes brand, but once it came in to become a house brand at Littlewoods, it just got slapped onto all sorts of products, including this, which is obviously not clothes. Anyway, I hope that's been interesting. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.